This is kind of a sad story today as Doctor Who continues to circle its drain, and I think this is a big global cultural sign that there's something wrong with the way that people have handled all these IPs, that conventions and fan gatherings are dying on the vine as these shows are losing their ratings. Obviously, there's a correlation there, but of course, nobody's going to look into that. Nobody's going to say anything about it other than me. Gallifrey One, the longest running Doctor Who fan convention, announces they will be shutting down for good. This is totally sad stuff, and this is a British staple. And Gallifrey One has had guests like none other for Doctor Who conventions over the years. Just one of the most storied conventions out there. And that's it. This is what Russell T Davies has done to the legacy because he's just not supporting stuff like this. You'd think that like the BBC or whatever would pour their hearts and souls into something like this because this is what bigger promotional event could you possibly have in the UK than something like this? But hey, they're not. I mean, it's always fan-driven, and the fans are tuning out. They're going and touching grass, and they're going to be doing so and not attending these conventions for much longer. Please hit the like and subscribe button here as we talk about all things in science fiction, especially Doctor Who. Really appreciate all you guys for being here. I'm a science fiction writer myself, if you are not aware. This is my Stars Entwined. It's part of my Arishon War trilogy. It's a space opera, a beautiful, beautiful story about a man who embeds himself on an alien starship to bring back information to Earth in the middle of a epic war. It builds up huge over the 3 books in the series, and you're going to love how it concludes. It really pays off well. Check it out. It's in the description below. You will enjoy this if you like some of the bigger Doctor Who space adventures that they did in the early 2005 series before things went off the rail. Thank you so much for checking this out, and it's available on ebook and print and audio for your convenience. Thank you so much. So the hits keep coming to Doctor Who fandom after it's been rumored that Ncuti Gatwa will be leaving the role and the show will be canceled after its season 2. That keeps being repeated over and over and over again. The BBC has denied it at this point. But Millie Gibson ended up exiting the role after 1 season, and of course she's still there. They're still doing that, even though they've replaced her. And then on top of that, Gatwa's really vented his frustrations quite a bit with what's happened with Doctor Who. Now, despite all this, Russell T Davies is doubling down. I did a video on this covering how the new writers for season 2. Every single one of them is gay or trans. It's like, what are you doing? This is the biggest overrepresentation pride fest that they've ever done. So they've changed this from a science fiction to a fantasy, and a gay fantasy at that, and that lost their entire audience. People don't want that. The beauty of what Doctor Who used to be, back when Tom Baker was there, they hired some of the best science fiction writers in the business. They wrote interesting and compelling science fiction, imaginative science fiction that didn't talk down to its audience. Now everything they do is talking down to people and moralizing at people and going, "You're a male-presenting Time Lord. Ugh, check your privilege," right? And it's obnoxious, and it's just not fun. So, of course, we now know that a big marketing blunder they've already made with the BBC is they announced that the show's going to be coming on April 12th for the new season. But they announced it during a rugby match. Why? I don't know. But that's exactly what they did, and that was how they had their grand bringing back of Doctor Who. Like, that's going to bring in any sort of audience that's going to cross over here. Meanwhile, they don't seem to be supporting this fan convention. And this is, again, just like something they should be pushing very, very hard, and it's sad. So this is all that's going on right now. This is Gallifrey One, Doctor Who's longest-running fan convention. They actually posted to their website here that they're going to conclude in 2028, but the moment has been prepared for. So this is really sad right here. It's a heavy heart. We announced on February 16, 2025, at the end of this year's convention closing ceremonies, that Gallifrey One will be coming to an end in 2028 after 3 more events over the next 3 years. Our February 2028 will conclude an unprecedented, sometimes inexplicable, indefinite, historic 38-year run as the world's largest and longest-running annual Doctor Who fan event. Crazy that they are going to close up after 38 years. Nothing lasts forever, but for many of you who have been with us for years or decades, probably felt like it would never end. Every year we heard the same thing. Galley is timeless. Galley is eternal. I'll be there for us always and forever. It's easy to forget that behind every guest, program item, every photo, autograph, every vendor, show participant, every game, video, every moment, there's a person. Sometimes the same person, more often many people who care and give of their time. Now, it's interesting that there's just not enough people to care and give of their time at this point. And again, this is because of what they've done to the show. It's very, very obvious as what's happening right here. It's a not-for-profit event. No one's ever benefited financially. Our board of directors, to the volunteers who help us, it's remained all fan, all volunteer. In fact, many of these volunteers don't live in Los Angeles. They commute to LA, and they help us run the show. And that members includes the board of directors who live in the UK. So this is a big, big thing. And again, why is this not being sponsored? This is a giant, giant fan event that the BBC should be pouring money into to make sure that there are people who can run this, that are professional, that are going to keep it going forever, because this is promoting your show better than anything else out there. Now, it's been going on since 1989. And the Doctor Who series was still in production less than 16 months after Doctor Who USA's store stopped in the city, and a local fan group was focused on holding that one convention. It billed, and even though Doctor Who was off the air, they kept going. It dwindled. Of course, they even went through the earthquake in 1994. They went through crazy stuff like that. And, of course, once it went back on the air and once it started getting beautiful reception with David Tennant and the like, it started growing very, very big. And this is the whole deal. Now, this has been something that if they can't replace any of these volunteers and there's not enough of them, this is a BBC, all hands on deck. You are in trouble. You've got people who don't want to bother anymore because of what you've done to the show. They feel betrayed, obviously. They don't feel like working for this. There's nobody there. They always say, Russell T Davies keeps saying, oh, there's these younger demographic who's going to come in on this, right? And guess what? There is no younger demographic that's coming in on this. They're not there. The audience levels are very, very low. Everybody's tuning out. Nobody's enthusiastic for the show. You don't hear any normies talking about it. Back in 2005, 2007, 2009, you would hear people talking about Doctor Who. Like, it was a thing. Nobody does anymore. The only thing you hear now is Nerdrotic online going, R.I.P. Doctor Who, it's gay and dead. And that's all you hear about this. It's really, really sad. So this is crazy with so many conventions going through. Maybe I'll go next year just to kind of say hi before all this closes up. But this is it. Discussing the end of it, it's become apparent to us that the best opportunity to continue the spirit of our convention was with them. Showmasters Event has the financial strength to run a Doctor Who show here, run in the manner resembling Gallifrey One, but not entirely. Put it simply, they don't want Gallifrey One's fan community to disappear after 2028 any more than we do. They've committed to running a show while not a nonprofit event like this. It operates today. They have contacts we have, and most importantly, the capital to put up. And that's the deal that's happening here. We asked them not to use the Gallifrey One name as the brand legacy retires with us. They were completely in agreement that this would be something new for the fans. That means no Gallifrey 2 or anything like that. This is kind of really sad, but oh well. These profit conventions are way not the same at all. If you've been to any of the like creation entertainment ones and all that, there is a soulless quality to them compared to the fan conventions. And this is just because there's not the fans to run this, guys. This is really, again, something to iterate about this. The fans aren't there. They're not enthusiastic anymore. And so the only way to come in is to have something that's a corporate sort of thing that's trying to milk all the customers and overcharge for photos and things like that. And that's how they run these things. Very, very sad. But this is it. This is another death knell into Doctor Who fandom. A big deal. That's a huge problem for Doctor Who fandom. And we're gonna see. They just announced its season 2 premiere date. Yay! They're really coming out here in Variety. And Alan Cumming is coming along for the ride. Ha 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 ha! What a pun. So this is it. April 12th at 12 a.m. Pacific time. 3 a.m. Eastern on Disney Plus in the United States and on the BBC and BBC iPlayer from the UK. And we'll have an 8-episode season, the shortest in known memory, because they are not confident in this whatsoever. They only commissioned 8 episodes for this season. That's crazy just by itself. If you think about it, they know it's a failure. And so I think Russell T Davies is going to pull out as much woke politics as possible. He's going to double down. He's going to go down with the ship. And we'll see what happens from here, because will there be anything left? Will there even be a way to have a corporate-run convention after this? I highly doubt it. Leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Please hit the like and subscribe button. We'll be back soon.